What's going on, man? It's your boy Sydney here on a Thursday morning. Looking forward to tonight. I have an interview with one of my fellow content creators, but you'll see more about that leading up to this evening. Now today what I wanted to chat to you about is, including you, Sir2K to Goat. Wow, that was a great start to the video. What I wanted to talk to you about is how most women hear what they think they're about to hear or what they want to hear rather than what's actually being said. And it took a conversation that I had last night for this to... I already knew it fundamentally, but the depth of this epidemic of this particular phenomenon took me until a conversation last night for me to fully realize the deeply ingrained, systematic thought process of most women. Let me tell you what I'm saying here. So, for any of you guys who watched Cassie J's interviews about the Red Pill movie that she made, you'll notice that when she was talking, she would say, when a men's rights activist, and I'm not going down the whole MRA path today in the video, that's not what I'm about, but just hear me out. So when she said, a men's rights activist would say, 6 times more men die from suicide than women, she would instantly think, she admits, she said, I would hear, it doesn't matter when women suicide. And she also said that amongst many other admissions she made while making the film, that she would basically hear something, basically with a focus on men, because they're overrepresented in a particular problem, and she would hear that we don't need to worry about women and that we don't care about women, which is clearly not the case, because we care about women more than we care about ourselves sometimes as a male collective. And then I had the conversation last night, and just now before I started making the video, I reflected back to when I spent some time at my family's house. It's like, my sister only hears what she wants to hear or what she thinks it is that we're about to say, even if nothing could be further from the truth. And I was speaking to a woman last night, and I've known this particular woman for quite a long time. She's probably in her late 40s, extremely intelligent person, actually. I have some very, very good conversations with her. And funnily enough, within the first 2 minutes of the conversation, she was just saying, I've just been so busy. I've been spending a lot of time, looking up fathers' rights. And I was like, wait, hold on. A woman looking into fathers' rights? This does not compute. So I asked her about that. And she said that the guy that she's currently seeing at the moment, who's an amazing guy also, who shares my name, which is pretty, I'd say it's coincidental, but clearly people with the name that I have are awesome, as I've proven. But she basically has this partner who's got a young son, and he gets to see his son for 4 minutes per week when he goes to the school, and waits outside the school for his son to come and pack all his stuff before he has to go to his carer. 4 minutes a week. And that's only on a technicality that he can see his son for 4 minutes a week, because it's still in the care of the school. But he wouldn't actually be able to take his son outside of the school for 4 minutes, because this mother is just alienating him. He forked up the thousands of dollars. What's up, Big Time Mind Frame? He forked out the thousands of dollars to come to mediation to get a family court. Basically in Australia, you've got mediation, you've got family court. Mediation is kind of like where you both reach an amicable agreement, but it's not really a binding agreement, but you still have to pay for the mediation. You still have to pay for the representatives and everything. So you're basically wasting money for nothing. And I found out from her last night that this particular woman, because the kid loves the Fat Controller on Thomas the Tank Engine, for you guys who have seen that kids show from many years back. And the mother was saying that the Fat Controller said that once, basically, in order to get the son to do things like clean up his room and do stuff around the house and behave himself and do this and do that and do all of this stuff, she was using the Fat Controller and saying, oh, you know, the Fat Controller said that when you clean up your room, and when you've done all your homework, and when you've done all your assignments, and when you've done this, and when you've done that, then, you know, you might be able to see dad. Using a fucking TV show to manipulate and control her son. Clear narcissist. Clear narcissist. You know, and these women don't care at all. They just don't care. And farts are funny. I agree that most family legal matters are settled by mediation, way less expensive than going to court. But the mediation means nothing if one party decides not to abide by that agreement. So you can spend that money to go to mediation, and then you have to spend the money going to court anyway. But I'm going to get back to what I was saying, right? Because I don't want to get off track with this topic, because it's very important for you guys to know this. It's extremely important when dealing with most women. And what I would be actually willing to say is that after listening to this carefully, listening to this video carefully, and going through conversations with women with this video in mind, and the concepts that I teach you in this video in mind, it will transform the way that you deal with women. It will transform the way you deal with them in the workplace. It will transform the way you deal with your ex-partner that's, you know, fucking you around. It will transform everything. So, this woman I was talking to last night, she said, oh, what have you been up to? And I told her, you know, I want to, there's a couple of things that I'm focusing on. One of them is having women removed from the Anti-Discrimination Act as a disadvantaged group, because they're not disadvantaged. And she, like, and to be honest, she was pretty objective and pretty open-minded, so I wasn't expecting her to come back at me the way she did. And especially after, you know, what her partner's been going through and the whole father's rights, I didn't expect her to come back at me. And we ended up opening up a whole can of worms, and she was saying, well, you know, men are, you know, privilege exists, right? White male privilege exists. And I said, well, on what basis do you say that? She goes, well, you know, white people are the most privileged people on the planet, you know, growing up in countries where they've got all this opportunity. And I said, so if you're saying white people have the most privilege, that means you also have just as much privilege as you're claiming that I do. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. It's like, well, okay. What are you actually trying to say then? What are you actually trying to convey? Right, so they just love grabbing particular words or particular snippets or particular phrases that sound good to them and using that to try and convey a message ineffectively. And this is why, so in my views and in my opinion, so many of the things women say don't make sense. Right, like when we had the Julia Gillard's misogyny speech in Australia when she was the Prime Minister, useless Prime Minister, by the way. She was the one who rolled back 50-50 shared parenting laws. And when she did the whole misogyny speech, like, I will not be lectured on misogyny by this man. She was talking about the Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, who's, you know, who's got Catholic beliefs, and he's also a tradcon. So very traditional, very conservative, you know, believes in, you know, traditional gender roles. Obviously, that's you know, we're not going to go back to that. We've evolved past that point. Whether we agree or not that traditional gender roles were the best gender roles, it's not going to return to that on a mass scale. So let's move past and deal with the framework that we have. So when and I said to this woman that I was talking to last night about the whole misogyny thing. And she goes, oh, but he was a misogynist. And I said, well, what is your definition of misogyny? And do you know what it means? She goes, okay, well, maybe he wasn't a misogynist. So I was like, aha. So you're calling him things that he's not because that word sounds good to you, right? And women do this a lot. They hear, like the words that are being spoken don't matter, right? The sound of your voice, they've already predetermined what they think you want to say. They've already predetermined it. So whatever you say, they will actually not listen to that objectively, most of them. They will listen through the lens through which they interpret you. Yeah, look, emotions do get the best of them. Absolutely, MGTOW strong. They really do get the best of them. And this is why, you know, when you say to someone, oh, you know, let's say, for example, a woman says, okay, how do I look in this? You say, oh, look, you look good, but if you changed your belt to the black one, you'd look even better. They take it as, oh, I look ugly. As a person, you think I'm ugly. No, I just think the fucking purple, green, and yellow polka dot belt you've got on looks shit. That's what I think. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not actually listening objectively to the words that I'm speaking and interpreting that within the framework of the English language or any language that they speak for that matter. Right? And you might, like, and some guys will get home, right, to their partner, and the woman might say, oh, you know, oh, you don't look so great, you know, are you okay? And he might say, oh yeah, it's okay, I'm just really hungry. And she'll say, oh, so I guess you expect me to make your dinner for you, huh? Is that all I am to you, a cook and a chef? You know what, you know, I do everything around here, blah, 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 blah. All right, this shit happens, man. Like, they've already got all of this anger built up, and they're looking for just a little pinprick in this bladder of water that they're holding, right? And the water is the emotions. They're just looking for a little pinprick or a hole for all of that to just pour out of. Like, they're just waiting for an opportunity for it to all gush out. All right? And because the emotions have already clouded their judgment and already clouded their thought, then, you know, there's no chance in making sense of what's going on. So yeah, it's just kind of how it is. But yeah, I agree. I find it funny that Tony was a tradecon but still a decent PM. Correct. But because of the whole women and feminists calling him misogynist for being more traditional, even though they don't know the fucking word of they don't know the meaning of the word misogyny at all. They've got no clue what it means. And of course, when you say, well, actually, you don't know the word of the name, you don't know the meaning of the word misogyny, because misogyny actually is when you hate women. And they'll go, oh, well, he does hate women. He wants them to be in the kitchen. It's like, well, okay. Let's say, for argument's sake, he does want them to be in the kitchen, which he doesn't. He's never said that. Not once did he ever say that women should be in the kitchen. Right? But let's say, for example, he did say that. For real. Like, let's say he said it. Does that mean he hates women? No, it just means that he thinks that their place is in the kitchen. Right? And typically speaking, I think women are probably better in the kitchen than guys are, but I don't think that that's necessarily their place there. Right? If they want their place to be there, and they want to make their guy happy through cooking for them, then by all means, make the conscious choice to go in there. I'm not telling you that you belong there. But if you want to go, if you want to make me happy by cooking for me, then that's your prerogative. Just saying. live free, this guy. Well, yeah. Well, Riff Magos says they can't even do that right. The best chefs in the world are men. Well, interestingly, best chefs cook. Yeah, MGTOW Mindframe. I wasn't saying that, but I mean, like, to be honest, I think that there's probably a hell of a lot of women out there who actually are some of the world's best cooks, but they'd never go on a cooking show. I don't know. It just depends, right? Because, like, well, look, everyone's gonna have their own opinions on that, for sure, and that's totally cool. And this is what I love about this forum, right? We can have these discussions. We can get ticking over thinking and get talking about all this stuff. And it just gets you guys to think, you know? Like, I guarantee that if you've been listening to what I've been saying in this video, you've already thought of at least one or two situations in which women have said things that they didn't mean, or they heard things that weren't said. All right, hit me up with some comments in this live chat here, guys. Am I right? Am I wrong? Like, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this one. If I haven't changed your mind yet, maybe I could arrange it. Hey, by the way, guys, check out, can you see this? See this little pinhole here? Camera. And here's the remote. Cool, right? Yes, MGTOW Mindframe? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I just offered you an orange, buddy. I'll save one for tonight. Lee Forrester says, hi Scott, I tell you what, the more women I meet, the more I hate them. They're so full of entitlement. The system is for them and they know it. And you know, it's Travis said, look, here we go, case and point, guys. Case and point. Case in point. Travis just said, I just got off the phone and said this very thing. The woman was irrational and crying and we were discussing work. Oh man, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, what can you do? But guys, I'm very shortly going to be putting these remote control caps on my MGTOW merchandise store, mgtowmerch.com. So if you guys are keen to get yourself one, by all means feel free to check it out. What I actually want to do first is I want to do some testing, make sure it's up to the standard that I expect, and go from there. A woman the other day said, I saw it on the bus the other day. Ruth Magos says, I saw it on the bus the other day myself. A woman said, can someone give me money for the bus fare? I wanted to smash the stupid bitch. Like, not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. Right? So, I mean, look, back, you know, I guess, back to my topic of the video, right? Because I've gotten sidetracked a few times, but it's always such a good sidetrack, damn it. It's always such a good sidetrack. So many good topics to talk about. So the woman I spoke to last night, I mean, just in one conversation, she said, well, he was a misogynist, but then when I actually said, well, what's the meaning of the word misogynist? She's like, okay, well, maybe he wasn't a misogynist. And I was like, so what you're saying is that you just went with everybody else. What you're saying is that, you know, people just take this woman's word that he's a woman hater because she actually opened her mouth and said the word. Right? And then on top of that, she's talking about white male privilege. But it's not really white male privilege if women have it too. Might be male privilege. But even then, it's not even white privilege. Like, do you even understand what privilege means? You don't know what privilege means. So don't go using the word privilege to describe shit that is just being fortunate. Like, yes, we're fortunate to grow up in Australia. I was fortunate to grow up in Australia and not Africa. I was very fortunate. Absolutely. But everyone who grew up in Australia is fortunate to grow up in Australia. Getting less and less fortunate now with the feminazis taking over. But like, to turn around, and then of course she went on with the whole pay gap chestnut. And she goes, oh, what's going on, Easy Lash? Good to see you, buddy. Got a teen MGTOW in the house, Easy Lash. Everyone give Easy Lash some love. He's a good guy. And he's been red pilling some of his buddies as well, so big respect on that one. So yeah, and then she harped on about the whole pay gap thing. I said, well, you know, even in companies like ANZ and Vodafone Australia, where there is no pay gap because women and men get paid the same for the same job, they actually pay women more superannuation. And of course, then she was like, oh, well, you know, that's fair because so many women take time off work. And I said, well, how about and hear me out, guys, how about we have government subsidized, so we have maternity leave through the company and then the rest of it's government subsidized, right? Because we do need to, you know, we do need to get our population numbers up somewhat. Hear me out, MGTOW mind frame. The reason I'm saying this is because then more men will be working while the women are at home. We'll have a more productive society. And on top of that, we can then, and you'll see where I'm going here, we can then remove, I mean, if you were to put some, MGTOW mind frame, if you were to put something like this maternity thing in place, right? You would then have to remove the unfairly biased distribution of assets in the instance of a separation. Because you can say, okay, well, look, we'll give you the maternity, right? You've got the equal pay, we'll give you the maternity so that you don't miss out. But because you're not missing out, then you don't get extra super. You don't get all these other things. Because what's going to happen, MGTOW mind frame, is that if we are then getting more women home raising the kids, then we're going to see a return back to traditionalism. And I know there's no real answer because a Walt, but it's better than what I see at the moment with, you know, women flooding the workplace and pushing men out and ruining careers and ruining lives. I mean, what's the alternative, you know? What's the alternative, honestly? This is something I'd love to chat with you about tonight. It'd be a very, very cool conversation. So many good topics. Well, exactly, like Riff Mago said, who will foot the bill for all this extra money to women? Right, men. Well, they're already getting given all men's money anyway. Right? They're already getting given all men's money anyway. But the difference is they're getting men thrown out of work, and they're still getting granted the money, and they're being thrown out of work. So, no more child support. Right? Wind back on the child support a little bit. You know, grant 50-50 shared parenting. Right? So, like, you want to have a kid, right? And you want to separate from your partner, which you're 70 to 80%. There's a 70 to 80% chance you will do if you're married. Probably about the same if you're not married, because it's easier. But women will just, you know, they'll have a kid with someone and they'll just walk away 70 to 80% of the time. By their own choice, by their own volition. So, what do we then do? Okay? You know, 50-50 shared parenting would be a great start. And I said that to the woman last night. And she said, oh, well, you know, but what are they going to do if people breach those laws? Jail time? In my head, I was like, fuck yeah, jail time. Because then you'll be removing the parent from the life that's actually causing all the damage. But instead, they enable the parent that's causing all the damage by enabling them to drag the other person through the court system, by enabling them to get more money by keeping the father away. And this is the joke. No, I'm good. I'm good, Lakefront Journal. I'm all sweet, man. What was the last thing you heard? Alpha Wolves is tired of spending my weekends doing shit around the house for her pleasure. Exactly. It's like, where's our reward? Like, what do we get done for us around the house? And, you know, look, if, like, I would argue, right? I would argue. If I, for example, was in a domestic partnership, let's call it that, with a woman, of course, because I'm straight. But if I was in a domestic partnership, I wouldn't mind doing some stuff around the house on a weekend if she's washing the clothes and cooking the dinners and doing all this other stuff on the weekend, right? Because it's a fair balance. She can do the stuff she's better at than I am, and vice versa. Eric Wade says, professional women are just mindless rubber duckies balanced atop fountains maintained by the efforts of competent men. Yeah, look, Eric Wade, it's like, what about, for example, women's only gyms, right? It's a place to get for women to get money from women and only hire women so they can get more money from women and then spend money with women. And then they're going to end up spending money on consumer objects which are probably created by men. So it's like, did you really win any? Like, and like if we were to make a men's only gym, women would fucking flip. But they've already got Fernwood Women's Fitness. There's so many women's only fitness gyms. There's women's only CrossFit gyms as well. Women's only gyms everywhere. So I was like, well, you know, when do we get to? Wait, Alpha Wolf, you gotta paint the house every year. What the fuck? What drugs is this bitch on? Motherfucker. Shit ain't cheap either. What a waste of money. Wow. Easy Lash also says, or hoarding the house with a bunch of junk. I can tell you from my own personal experience, man. Fuck, women like to hoard shit. My God. Like, typically speaking, they hoard the shit out of things. Can I give you an example? But before I do, I just want to quickly share this a little thing that I saw. Yeah, Lucid D, women are a disadvantaged group in our country by law. Joey says we have a sauna here close. We have a sauna here close. What is 3 times a week open? 2 days women only, 1 day men and women combined. So it's open for 3 days, 2 days women only, 1 day men and women. Unbelievable. So when I say about the hoarding, right? My ex-partner, fuck. Just like, how many picture frames do you need? How many plants do you need? Like literally the whole fence and the whole garden was just full of fucking pot plants, just all the way along. Like, I can't have just a nice, clean, uncluttered, green, smooth, you know, nice zen space in the backyard. It's like fucking cluttered with pot plants and little this plant and that plant and fucking all this shit hanging off the front balcony, hanging all along the fence line, or sitting all along the fence line around the back, and then sitting on milk crates out the fucking back porch. Like, fuck, too many plants. Fuck. And then she had about 12 to 14 boxes of old clothes. That she did not need. That she didn't fit into anymore. Like clothes from when she was a little kid. Like, shit, man. Like, You know, 1986 is finished. We're 25 to 30 years down the track. Like, you can get rid of the clothes, you haven't worn them since then. And I literally pulled the 12 boxes out because I was just done with it one day. Like, I was so sick of the fucking clutter. Like, I didn't move out of it. I didn't move out of a 2-bedroom apartment and buy a 3-bedroom double-story house that my wife wanted, not me, by the way, just so that she could reclutter that shit. Unbelievable. So anyway, I got all these boxes of clothes out and I sat them in the top area upstairs and I said, right, can you please go through these? I'm like, just one item in 10. One item in 10, please put it in a bag, we'll send it off to Vinny's. Do you know how many items of clothes she put to the side to discard? Out of 12, and I'm not talking like small boxes, I'm talking like big ass moving boxes, like big heavy boxes, chock-a-block full of clothes. Right? 3 items and 2 of them were handkerchiefs. Out of 12 boxes, 3 items she wanted to get rid of. And even then, I think it was just more out of obligation, sort of saying, well, shit, I better get rid of something, otherwise he's going to get upset. Ridiculous. You see, like, shoes, like, rotting away and peeling and falling apart, and they still want to keep them. Like, just get rid of it! My God! It's like, and all these fucking jewelry, you got jewelry from when you were like 3 years old, little fucking pink plastic pearl fucking wristlets and shit. Like, fuck it off. And MGTOW Farmer says he's got his own junk pile going. I add to it and build from it weekly. Right? So you actually use that stuff to make stuff. So that's okay. But if you were putting all that stuff and not getting rid of any of it and not using it for anything, then you're probably a woman watching my channel. Oh yeah, and Elvin Girl also said she also knows that old stuff gets thrown out for an excuse to shop. So yeah, there's either women throwing out shit to have an excuse to spend more money, or women keeping stuff and not ever getting rid of it, even if it's completely clogged. Wait. What did I just see here? It says, Lee Forrester says, my ex is seeing a pedophile. She's allowed by social services. She gets all the money for the kids and I now don't see them. I just pay. I'm under the gun, so to speak. I could write a book. And MGTOW Strong says, a pedophile? Oh my God. And Lee says, MGTOW Strong, yep, it's unbelievable. And here is the icing on the cake. She works in child protection. So this woman who works for Child Protective Services is not only alienating her ex-partner, who's a good man, and not only milking him for every dollar, but is also fucking a pedophile who she's allowing in the house with her children. And she works for Child Protective Services. I bet she'd be protected by Child Protective Services if someone were to report her. Of course. Yep, unbelievable. And yeah, it is kind of like sentimental shit. MGTOW Farmer says, sentimental crap. I had to pack my sister's room up to build a pantry. She had set it up as a shrine to her childhood. Lives 5,000 kilometers away. That's like 3,000 miles away for you guys in America. Jesus. Unbelievable. But yeah, and then I know another woman, every single time I've ever been to her house. It's an absolute pigsty. You know, you get like those little, you know, something will say like love or happy. It's just like cut out letters made of wood. She's got like 14 of those that I counted in her kitchen alone. 14. It's like, and she's got multiple ones that say the same shit, like love, happy, family, peace, all that bullshit. And he's got so many freaking clothes and toys and crap for her daughter. It's ridiculous. There's so much shit that she doesn't need. I'm like, what the actual hell?
Hold up.
Sorry guys, my phone just was ringing for a second there. Just pulling up. Should be able to squeeze between these two driveways. Yeah. Elvin Girl says, I feel like 14 love signs is a sign that something isn't going right for her. Absolutely. Well, she is a almost 40-year-old single mother, so probably pretty accurate. But yeah, guys, most of you at some stage today are probably going to have to interact with a woman. So I want you to actually listen to what they say and see how they respond to things that you say. And if they respond in an irrational or an emotional way, did they actually hear what you were saying, or did they hear what you thought that, or did you hear what that they've got going on in their head that they're feeling self-conscious about? Or, you know, did they hear what they thought you were going to say because they think they know who you are and what you're about? Man, my car's so dirty, holy shit. Check out the back window. You know, and listen to what she says as well. And I want you to actually listen very carefully and tell me if what she said to you is actually what she means. Because the likelihood that what she says to you 100% of the time is what she means is almost non-existent. MGTOW Farm, I'm not going to punish you for not doing your homework. I'm not a feminist teacher. Alright? Just because you're a male, I'm not going to punish you. But you'll get out of the exercise what you put in. So if you do get the opportunity, it's a very interesting thing for you to observe. MGTOW Strong says they hear what their emotions filter in. Exactly. Lucid D says women hear what they want to hear and disregard the rest. That's exactly right. Lakefront Journal says they heard what they decided to hear. That's correct. This is what I'm saying, guys. Absolutely 100% correct. Absolutely 100% correct. And Hefesel Sarah says, yes, so many women live in pig pens, cluttered and dirty. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Very few women I know, well, look, usually the women I know that, women I know that live by themselves, pig pens. Most of them, pig pens. Very few that aren't. So, I don't know. Yeah, they do get triggered when presented with facts and stats. I just like asking questions. I really love asking questions to them to make them confuse themselves. Yeah, their cars as well, absolute disaster. Oh my God, don't even get me started on their cars. Like, I was at my buddy's house yesterday and the daughter had a brand new Golf Volkswagen Polo bought for her by her father. I could hear the of the brake pads against the calipers. The brake pads are worn completely through. It's just squealing now. And there's a dent on the right hand door. She's missing all of her hubcaps. The front grille is all smashed up. it hasn't been serviced since it got bought. Like, they just don't look after their stuff. Way too often. I only know a few women that actually look after their cars, and I really respect that. MGTOW Farmer says, only woman I have anything to do with these days, most days, is a 74-year-old feminist. She knows my views and the whys. Yeah, it's alright. Hoarding is like nesting, gone Ori. Exactly. Smash that thumbs up, guys. Thank you for that, Boski. I appreciate it. Mad MGTOW says, right on. My former partner always asked me to clean her hovel of a home, which was a government-funded state house, while she sat around and smoked cigarettes and drank lolly water, aka soft drink, aka sugar drink. And I bet she was a whale too, right, Mad MGTOW? Easy Lash says, just wait till there's a huge production of robots that doesn't cause problems. Exactly. Lakefront Journal says, I went into the home of a female friend who was being evicted and saw and smelled things I can't unsee or unsmell. Lucid D says, women's favorite question, do you love me? Did you miss me? Oh, that kills me. What up, MGTOW Monk? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. It has been a while. Riff May goes, there she blows. Mad MGTOW says, skinny as hell, hardly ate. Okay, so probably didn't cook for you either, I'm guessing. Wow. MGTOW Strong says, my grandmama died 2 years ago at the honorable age of 99, and on her deathbed made me promise to stay single because she knew about today's women. Wow. That is crazy. I'm actually gonna screenshot that for myself. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a longer stream this morning, 42 minutes. Thank you all so much. And thank you so much to those of you guys who have been donating to the Fighting Fund at paypal.me/sydneymgtow and becoming patrons on Patreon of $1 and $2 and even one guy's at $5 a month. Thank you so much. It really is a huge help for what I'm planning to do. And I'm currently doing some research and writing up some letters I'm going to be sending off very shortly to start this process. So to any of you guys who want to donate to help towards that, I'd really appreciate it. And if you just want to donate to my birthday bucket list fund so that I can make it over to the MGTOW Global Summit this year, I've already got the points for my airfares. I just need some money for accommodation, so Airbnb or money. But if you're going to donate for my birthday, then you must write birthday in the note of PayPal, otherwise I won't touch the funds. MGTOW Farmer says, my gran is 83 and you should hear the vitriol she has for today's women. I'm not surprised. Anyway, guys, good to see you, Thomas, as well. Thank you so much to everybody who's joining the stream. I love seeing you guys jump in all the time. I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Peace.